What if I told you some horror movies were so disturbing that governments literally banned people from watching them? Not restricted, not censored, completely banned. And today, you're about to discover 10 horror movies that crossed every line imaginable. Horror movies are meant to scare you, but sometimes they go way too far. These are the films that shocked audiences, caused riots, triggered bans, and in one case got the director arrested. Before we begin, if you're someone who loves disturbing horror films, brutal movies, and dark cinema, then you're going to love this channel. Hit subscribe, because we post the most insane movie recommendations you won't find anywhere else. Now, let's begin. 10. I Spit on Your Grave. Let's start with one of the most controversial revenge horror films ever made. I Spit on Your Grave shocked audiences with its brutal, uncomfortable storytelling. The film follows a woman who faces horrific violence and then takes revenge in the most disturbing ways imaginable. The movie was immediately banned in Ireland, Norway, Iceland, and West Germany. Critics called it exploitative and disturbing, while audiences walked out of theaters. Some countries refused to even classify it. Even the 2010 remake faced heavy backlash, proving that even decades later, this story was still too extreme. This wasn't just horror, this was pure discomfort. 9. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Today, it's considered a horror masterpiece, but when the Texas Chainsaw Massacre released in 1974, it was considered too disturbing for audiences. The film follows a group of friends encountering a terrifying family, including one of horror's most iconic villains, Leatherface. The movie was banned in the UK until 1999 on home video, along with Australia, Norway, Finland, Brazil, and West Germany. What shocked audiences wasn't just the violence, but how real the movie felt. The gritty visuals, raw performances, and relentless tension made it feel less like a movie and more like a real nightmare. It felt like found footage before found footage even existed, and that made it terrifying enough to ban. 8. Irreversible. Some horror movies rely on monsters. Irreversible relies on human darkness. This film became infamous after its premiere at Cannes, where hundreds of people walked out during the screening. Some even reportedly fainted. The movie features extremely disturbing scenes presented in reverse chronological order, making the experience even more uncomfortable. It was banned or restricted in multiple countries. Even today, many viewers say it's one of the hardest movies to sit through. This isn't traditional horror, but it's psychological horror at its most brutal. 7. Grotesque. The name says it all. Grotesque is a Japanese horror film that focuses entirely on extreme torture and disturbing imagery. There's no escape, no relief, just relentless brutality. The UK's BBFC refused classification, effectively banning the movie. Their reason was simple. They claimed the film had no redeeming value and existed purely to shock audiences. Even hardcore horror fans struggle with this one, because this film doesn't just scare you, it tests your limits. 6. Martyrs. This French horror film is often called one of the most disturbing movies ever made. Martyrs starts as a revenge story, but quickly transforms into something much darker. The film dives into extreme violence, psychological trauma, and existential horror. It was banned in New Zealand and heavily restricted in several other countries. Critics were divided. Some called it art, while others called it unwatchable. But one thing everyone agreed on, Martyrs leaves a permanent impact. 5. Midsommar. A bright, colorful horror film sounds harmless, right? Wrong. Midsommar shocked audiences with its disturbing rituals set entirely in daylight. Unlike traditional horror, This movie doesn't hide in darkness. Everything is visible. Every disturbing moment and unsettling ritual happens in broad daylight. The movie was banned or restricted in several Middle Eastern countries due to its themes and graphic content. Many viewers still say this is one of the most uncomfortable horror experiences ever made. 4. Hereditary. Hereditary isn't just scary, it's deeply disturbing. This film slowly builds dread until it completely shatters you. The movie was banned in Kuwait due to its disturbing themes and shocking moments. What makes Hereditary terrifying is how realistic it feels. It doesn't rely on jump scares, it relies on pure psychological dread. And when the horror finally hits, it hits hard. This is the kind of horror that stays with you long after the movie ends. 3. Cannibal Holocaust. This movie didn't just get banned, it got the director arrested. Cannibal Holocaust was so realistic that authorities believed it was a real snuff film. The director had to bring actors to court to prove they were still alive. Yes, it was that extreme. The film was banned in Italy and several other countries. It also became controversial for its found footage style, which was decades ahead of its time. Even today, this film remains one of the most infamous horror movies ever made. 2. The Human Centipede 2. If you thought the first movie was disturbing, the sequel took things to another level. The Human Centipede 2 pushed boundaries so far that the UK banned it on release. The film was criticized for graphic violence, disturbing imagery, and extreme psychological horror. Even hardcore horror fans found this one difficult to watch. The movie doesn't just cross the line, it completely destroys it. 1. A Serbian Film. This is often considered the most disturbing movie ever made. A Serbian film was banned in multiple countries due to its extremely graphic and controversial content. The movie sparked global outrage. Critics called it sick, disturbing, and unwatchable. Some countries completely banned it, while others heavily censored it. Even today, many viewers refuse to watch it, because once you watch a Serbian film, there's no going back. This isn't just horror, it's one of the most controversial films ever made. So those were 10 horror movies that were banned across nations. Some of these films are disturbing, some controversial, and some simply unforgettable. But here's the real question. Which one do you think deserved to be banned? And which one shouldn't have been banned at all? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, watch wisely.